Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. So I believe that the recent James Comey indictment is it's just beginning. It's just beginning of more indictments, more people that are going to be called up to basically go to jail, prison. But will they? Will they? All right. So Alexandria, Virginia. When I was going through Hard Hat Dive School, I lived there, and I would drive in every morning to the Washington Navy Yard and go through training. Very, very beautiful place. But that is where the latest Trump-appointed district attorney. So there's lots of news on her. Let me see. I have something here. Yes, Lindsay Halligan, newly appointed Virginia prosecutor Lindsay Halligan. Now she's quite attractive woman. She was a runner-up for Miss Colorado or something, or maybe she was Miss Colorado. So Trump just like has all the beautiful women, from all those years of the pageants. So he taps some, he's got some talent out there. It's beauty. Also, a lot of times when they are beauty pageants, they win those. It's because they have a lot of brains to go along with that, and so look for that. So Halligan was appointed. I guess she was on Trump's team. He appointed her to Alexandria, Virginia, and she is overseeing the Comey, I guess, coming trials, indictment, whatever. So it's an escalation. Things are moving very quickly. Of course, we have Pete Hegseth, which is basically bringing in, all the generals and admirals. I think that he's going to do a little chopping block because there's still Obama and Biden, Trump haters within the military at high ranks. That's not good for morale, right? So they're going to go bye-bye. And I talked about this yesterday a little bit. But there's way too many high-level officers in the military. I think it's like 4 or 5 times what it used to be during World War II. So it's got to be downsized. And Pete Hegseth said that he would downsize top brass by 20%. So we're going to see some of those people that are coming are going to get the chopping block, and that's going to be kind of like now. That's going to be a breath of fresh air to all those people that built their careers off of merit, right? So a lot of those appointees, admirals and generals, are oftentimes put there by different administrations to basically do their bidding, right? So that's going to be a good move. We've talked about that for a while, how there's a lot of people in the military that, because everybody thought, oh, the military, they're all good. I can tell you from experience, no, all right? Not even close. And I would be very happy to see some chopping block stuff, right? So that'll motivate all the other people, like I said, that reach those levels that they did through merit. It will be a very, very encouraging to the junior enlisted, a senior enlisted, and then the junior, officer corps, which are seeing that, yeah, we're getting rid of the fluff. We're getting rid of the ones that, we could never get anything done because they're in the way. So it's going to be, I think things are going to move ahead very quickly in a very positive way. Now, I feel very confident that we're probably going to do something in Venezuela. How far that goes remains to be seen. But I think Venezuela is going to get taken down. And then I see also that there's going to be some activity in the United States because Trump has talked about that for quite some time. Now, think about it. You have these women that are pregnant that are taking Tylenol just in spite of Trump, because he came out and said that Tylenol, acetaminophen, has been not recommended for pregnant women for a long time. All right, so now there's new studies that are out, and we thought we were going to hear something like monumental about autism, like no more childhood vaccinations. All right, that would be what I would like to see or hear. But they're talking about doing away with acetaminophen. All right, so I guess it's a little baby step in that direction. I don't know, but anyway, these crazy liberal women started a TikTok thing where they started taking gobs of Tylenol or whatever and saying that that's not science, it's all bullshit. But it's been there for a long time, not to take it. So anyway, I guess there's one woman that's in a coma. They're thinking about taking the baby out so that at least the baby survives. But who knows? Maybe the baby's already harmed as well. So it's now who in their right mind would do that? What mother would do that just to spite somebody else? That's someone that has extreme Trump derangement syndrome. Now this has been pushed for 12 years, guys. Right? During Trump, before Trump came in, well, 8, 9, 10, about 10 years, 8, 9. All right, so when he first came in office, when he was out of office, and now still, so over 8 years, this Trump derangement syndrome has been pushed on these liberals, guys. There's a lot of people that were telling me they have family members that are like psychopath with this stuff, right? So it was MK Ultra on a grand scale. So we have a lot of those people that are, and I've been saying this for a long time, that are in the way of us progressing as a nation. They're in the way, right? They're in the way of us cleaning up the illegal aliens that are here. Many of them murderers, right? Multiple murders, some of these people, and they're trying to get them out, and we have these libtards that are out there getting in the way. Now, I said that once we start to see shooting, things are going to start to get a lot crazier. So we just had a shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas, right? So things are starting to pick up now, guys. And that's probably one of the reasons, I feel very, very confident, that's one of the reasons why all those military officers were called back. One of many, all right? So we're probably going to see military are going to have to go in the streets because we have, deranged, lunatic liberals that are out there that are going to absolutely lose their mind. If they had a problem with Jimmy Kimmel, what do you think what's going to happen when Obama's indicted, right? So Hillary, or whoever's playing Hillary, or whoever's playing Obama, or whoever's playing Comey, whatever, right? So once now that indictments are starting, we're probably going to see these guys, these liberal crazies, really start to become a problem. More of a problem. More of a problem. And it's going to really start to pick up pace, and it's going to get out of hand. So we've talked about military's the only way. We've said this for years. I said, remote viewed this over 5 years ago because people were asking me, are we going into civil war? No, but we're going to have conflict in the big cities. So that's where things are moving, and it's moving there very quickly. And so we're going to see a lot of this stuff. So, liberals are constantly, saying crazy stuff, trying to, they see lies like Jimmy Kimmel, I can't believe that he's going to go back on air, but this is part of the slow process of taking all this down. It's one step forward, half step back. So Jimmy Kimmel's back. And they're going to start to put them out there. But what should happen to ABC? What should we do? Well, first of all, we should not be watching Jimmy Kimmel. I pointed out that my shows have higher views than his shows, right? So it's insane that anyone watches that. Literally insane. The people that are watching him are insane, because I think Trump derangement syndrome has basically created mental illness and those people need to be treated. So it's going to get crazy. So it's going to be Bondi is going to start to go after people, and they're going to start indicting people left and right. There's a lot of people that need to be indicted now. Like nice like velvet gloves probably is what's going to happen for Comey. He's probably still got a lot of people in the Justice Department and so forth that just think he walks on water, and he's a walking criminal. He's going to blame everything on Obama, and he's going to blame everything on the deep state, because there is a deep state in the United States, a deep state that took down JFK, a deep state that has done 9/11, a deep state that has done so many things in our country, and he's part of that. He's protected by that. So we're going to have to see these people go into military tribunals. We're never going to get justice from these people. So, but I think that the arrests are moving in that direction. And I think that when things start to get really crazy, the military JAGs are going to come in and start to judge advocate generals, and so forth, are going to basically start trying a lot of these people. And we won't need to go all the way to Guantanamo, because we'll have to be in a military type environment here in the United States. Not everywhere, but in the places where it's going to be needed. Of course, D.C., probably someplace in Virginia, where those trials can be done. New York, Chicago. We're going to have military tribunals in a lot of different places. There's just too many people. We can't fly them all down. It's not cost effective, time effective, and so forth, to run all these people down to Guantanamo or off into the Pacific or the Atlantic and into some fleet ship, right? Should put that on those sailors, right? It should be done more locally. That way it can be just like, I guess Trump talked to Z and asked them how do they handle their drug problem. He says, well, we don't have a drug problem, and the reason why is because if someone is pushing drugs, they get tried in the morning, in the afternoon, we kill them, right? And that's probably what's going to happen with a lot of these people, right? And that's all because there's so many of them. There's so many of them. Mass graves, whatever it takes, right? So I'm going full on, all right? So I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a pretty show. Maybe there'll be the kid glove stuff, and they'll be like slap on the wrist. Oh, Comey, yeah, you're a bad boy. Go do whatever you're going to do, right? We're tired of that. I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm pretty sure that they have a plan for that. I think they have a plan that's going to basically, adjust for all of that. So Trump said Comey was absolutely a terrible man for what this country stood for. And he says, I think he's a sick guy, actually. He did terrible things at the FBI. So there's a lot of FBI agents. I think I saw somewhere it was like over 400 of them that were literally pushing people into the Capitol, trying to instigate rioting and so forth. Some of those men, women are saying that they were coerced or forced in some way to do that. I think that's going to be, something that needs to be exposed. If Comey, put out a directive, we're going to have you guys do this. They didn't want to do it, but they had to do it because they were told to do it. I'm never a fan of that. That's not something we do in the special forces at all, right? So everyone has to be pretty focused on, because you can't do the impossible if you have people that aren't on board with it, right? So everyone has to be very focused, very on board with what the missions are and so forth. Everybody has to understand. Sometimes you might not completely agree, but there's a time and a place. Sometimes you just got to roll. These guys weren't in that situation. They didn't have to roll on this. They didn't have to do that. So I think there should be consequences for those FBI agents that actually participated in this, and some of them that did got a little extreme. There should be consequences for that. All right. So we're going to see that. That's another thing that's coming up. So not only in the FBI, but also the CIA. So you're going to have a lot of these different groups that I've said will probably go away, the FBI, CIA, so forth. They're going to be so exposed, and people are going to be so friggin' angry and traumatized by what they see that these agencies have been doing that are very negative, that they're going to want them to go away. All right. And they will. In my opinion, they will go away. I don't know when, but they will go away. So this is it going to move in a direction and a speed with which this can happen during Trump's administration? Because who knows what's going to happen when he's gone. Now we have also Soros-linked Howard Rubin arrested for sex trafficking. So the judicial system is going after all of these people. So not only the political types that are funded and manipulated, but also the major funders like Soros, right? So this one person who is basically his right-hand man or something like that, arrested for sex trafficking. So accused of torturing Playboy models in soundproof sex dungeon. All right, so wow. So, there's so much that's coming out. Now, another thing that's really being exposed is who's that? The Jenner fam, not Jenner, but Kardashians. So the Kardashians, they're being exposed now for having something even worse than P. Diddy, right? So those crazy parties and, sex parties and, framing people and all that kind of stuff. It's looking like the Kardashians did that, and it's way worse, right? So more exposures coming. All these exposures, massive exposures. It's going to be like, you're going to have to be like head on a swivel just to see all the different things that are like, whoa, that. It's like that every day. It's like, okay, what am I going to see today? It's going to be amazing. How much of this can I talk about? What should I focus on? It's like, there's so much. And of course, we still have the Charlie Kirk. I was just hearing that the FBI is admitting now that there's some of these conspiracies that are out there is some room for some of these conspiracies now, right? So that's kind of a first, right? So again, FBI probably going to go bye-bye. So at least they're admitting some of this stuff, and they're like I said, they're going to expose a lot of the stuff is going to be exposed. So Charlie Kirk, there was no burial, and there's no resting place. So now, if we look at JFK, so JFK basically, they put him in a coffin and flew him on Air Force One out of Dallas without going through the proper procedures, which in that state, they should have received the body and done an investigation. They weren't allowed. So that's a deep state playing their game. Now, I believe the White Hats did that in reverse. So they took Charlie Kirk's body or whatever, whoever's playing that, or some kind of coffin or whatever, and they put it in Air Force Two. Remember, J.D. Vance flew down, picked up his body, and flew it to Arizona. All right. So sounds like the same situation. They get on Air Force Two. They have carte blanche, and they can just fly them out. There's no investigation. Now Utah is saying, hey, we want same thing. Probably Dallas did the same thing. Hey, we were supposed to be involved in this. What happened here? And so he's gone. Because there is nobody. All right. And that's the way we can play that game against the deep state. So there's so many different things that are coming out on that. It's just really quite crazy. So like the one guy I was talking about, George Soros' right-hand man, Howard Rubin, he's been arrested for running sex trafficking operation out of penthouse, turn bondage and sadomasochism, BDSM, I guess that's what it stands for, something like that. Rubin is a retired Wall Street executive who managed funds for the Soros Fund and other wealthy clients. Rubin and his assistant, Jennifer Powers, also indicted, reportedly spent over $1 million to fund the operation. That sounds like low budget, but we'll probably see some more later on. Now, Candace Owens just told us that Tyler Robinson never stepped foot on the campus of Utah Valley University. So, I mean, the reveals are coming from left and right on this this craziness, right? Because it's like so much material for people that have an open mind and do critical thinking. And of course, Candace Owens is definitely one of those people. So, I mean, there's some things I'm kind of like, Candace, I don't know about that one, but there's some things I'm like, good job. This is one of them. So Tyler's father never turned him in, Candace is saying. And she wanted to be very clear about one thing. Tyler Robinson is not suicidal, right? Okay, so by state law in Utah, a hospital is required to perform an autopsy during any homicide investigation. Of course, that was not done. How was not an autopsy done in the assassination of Charlie Kirk? And a doctor was able to sign off on this. Who is the doctor and who authorized this? All right. So more people investigating. More, of course, you know, I told you why they were able to get him out of there, because you got carte blanche when you're the president or vice president. So I'm sure that was already planned. And that's what's happening right now. Now, remember President Trump said that there were a lot of Hamas types, terrorist types that were here in the United States, and that we would probably see an Israeli type of situation where Hamas, you know, went into that city and started shooting up the city. Imagine that happens anywhere in the United States. Would there be a reaction force? Would SWAT and the police be able to respond to that? Well, I can tell you from my experience from overseas where these types of attacks happen, and of course we have very suspect attack that happened in Israel, but anyway, it went on for hours. There was one that went on for days in India, where a Pakistani man came in and basically walked the streets and shot up this one city. So this is something that could very well happen in the United States any day now, any day. We have to be ready for this. And will it happen just in one city? No, I think it's going to happen in multiple cities simultaneously. And I think that's one of the reasons why they brought the military back, right? Because we're going to start to gear up for that. So that's in my opinion, that's extremely, extremely good. So again, moving in the right direction. ICE moving in the right direction. Now shots are being fired at ICE agents from a very similar background that the one supposed shooter had for the Charlie Kirk event, you know, Tyler Robinson. So the latest Dallas shooter, same thing, bullets with, you know, hate ICE and I think Antifa logo stuff on it. Antifa, I guess some Antifa in Portland were messing around like they've been in the past, and they got arrested. So they're hammering down now that I think Trump signed a bill that Antifa is a terrorist organization. Let me see if that was signed. Antifa terror org. Okay. What to know after Trump classifies decentralized Antifa? This is 5 days ago. All right, President Trump on Monday signed an order designating a decentralized movement known as Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. So it sounds like he did do that on Monday. Republican president said on social media last week during a state visit to the United Kingdom he would be making such a designation. He called Antifa a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster and said he will be strongly recommended that its funders be investigated. So probably going back into the Soros organizations, guys. Very, very likely. I think I even remember when Antifa was rioting during the George Floyd riots, that had already been discovered. So, more and more of the funding sources, you take away the funding sources, the criminals aren't going to do criminal, right? If they don't have the money, they're not going to do it. So that's what we're going to start to see. And I think we're already starting to see, we're seeing that now. So the president predicts more indictments after Comey. He says that has cast the indictment of a former FBI director, James Comey, as justice rather than revenge. All right, so the New York Times, of course, is going to spin this. More cases. Mr. Trump predicted there would be more indictments, but rejected the idea of a list of individuals whom he wanted to be indicted next. Rejected that idea because, of course, they do have a list. And he even said it in a press conference the other day in the Oval Office where they asked him about that. And he said, yes, Obama will be indicted at some point and arrested. And so will Clapper and Brennan and Comey. He mentioned Comey, so Comey's done. Comey, he had to be done because there was a range where he committed constitutional, injustice, or I guess he made the Russia collusion bullshit stuff statements to Congress, which was lies. So there's like a 5-year window of where he can be, indicted on those charges. So we're coming up on that. I guess it was, within the next few days. So they had to move on him. The other ones, there's probably not that type of window. Maybe on some of the other ones. I don't know who else maybe has been in Congress and has lied in Congress. Maybe some of those people have. If they have, then it will probably start to see some of them move forward. But this one had to be done. And we're going to see more of those, of course, in the future. But they have the leverage and the ability to be fluid in the situation and see how the reaction is for Comey and see how people. So I think that's what a lot of this stuff is all about. We have to see what the reaction is. If we have instant riots and the whole country is like burning, yeah, maybe we won't indict some of the others, but we're not seeing that now or yet. So and now when he is indicted, I think it's going to be on the 6th of October is when they're saying that he's going to be when they read the charges to him or take him in. From that point on, we'll see, what happens. Of course, the lamestream media is going to be really, trying to hype this up going forward. And I think he's already made statements. Who knows, maybe he'll make more statements in the next several days before he goes in. I don't know. Yeah, Silver Pimp's definitely a test run. We're seeing how this one's going to go, and then we'll start to bring in the other ones. But again, like I said, we have to see these guys basically go to military tribunals. Where there's absolutely no way they're going to get justice in this justice system we have here. Now, Trump had Turkey's Erdogan. Now, he spent time in Turkey. My daughter had a nose job. It's like the best place to do nose jobs. Of course, the military paid for my nose job because I needed it for diving because I had a deviated septum. But she went there. It was real cheap, so I and my late son Michelangelo went there with her, and we're hanging out Turkey is an absolutely beautiful place. And so there's a lot of stuff about Muslims now. Now, I can tell you that of all the countries, Muslim countries I've been to, I think Turkey is the most balanced of all of them. Very, very balanced. I was very pleased. Turkish people, absolutely amazing. Turkish food is amazing. The landscape, just absolutely breathtaking. Now, we've had, thousands and thousands of years of history in Turkey. Constantinople and so many other things. So I would like to go back there and do some more viewing of Turkey. There's so much more to see. You'd have to spend years there to see everything. So I have to do it in little pieces. But Erdogan he's a very measured, but very powerful figure in that area. And President Trump told reporters at the White House on Thursday that Turkish President Erdogan could pressure, no, it's not going to do that, Russia to end the war in Ukraine if he wants to. Now, again, Erdogan, I think, is very respectful of our president, and, our president's trying to apply leverage on the situation. But I think ultimately that we're going to see the Ukrainian army completely destroyed, and probably Russia will gain a great influence over Ukraine. They should, so that this never happens again, because the Nazis that are there are just going to do the same thing again. You're going to have to completely get rid of the Nazis in Ukraine, Nazi army, and never let them form up again. So I think that Russia needs to basically take over the whole country. I don't know where President Trump is getting his information. I have some ideas, but it is not in our favor to go against Russia cleaning up Ukraine. All right. So I think there's a lot of people that feel the same way. So we'll see. Maybe it's all a ploy, because President Trump is always the guy that's throwing people off by saying what he doesn't want to happen. So it's kind of like, if he really wanted to take down the liberals once and for all, he would say, and I saw this done in a skit, he would say that oxygen, he basically promotes oxygen, and that if and he has like beautiful lungs, and his doctor's like, oh, you have the best lungs, and just breathe in that oxygen, just breathe it in, and liberals would like stop breathing, and so I think it would clean up the city. We wouldn't have the problems in the cities they're probably going to come. So I mean, it's crazy, right? So whatever President Trump is saying, everybody does the opposite. So I think he just plays it off. He just keeps playing it off. It'll work out great. All right. So let's look at some other things. I think we're going to have to really keep our eye on the weather. I think it's going to continue to be a problem. I don't think the deep state's done. I don't think their weather manipulation is done yet. Maybe they're holding out. Maybe the White Hats are pushing these storms out. I think there could be that going on. Maybe a little some prayer along with that. But these storms, I don't think we're done with them.
Got a big update on what's going on with this storm system as it comes closer. I'm showing it's going to be a stall for quite some time, everybody. As you can see, the latest update on Humberto, that it is going to be a Cat 4 hurricane, maybe even a high-end Cat 4. So far, it's showing it's going to be around 145 miles per hour sustained winds. Now, just like I told you yesterday, how this is going to push this further towards the west is showing true, everybody. Matter of fact, I'm seeing this go all the way towards that western corner around the edge of Georgia and South Carolina and Florida. Sit there for maybe 24 hours, bring a lot of storm surge, a lot of flooding, bringing winds as well. And then as Humberto pulls away,
So you're seeing this these storms been coming for a while, but they're getting pushed. Umberto is Cat 4, looks like it's getting pushed out, but because it's becoming so strong and so big and it's staying in that position, it's pushing this other, I don't think it's even a tropical storm yet, this other one that's around the San Juan, Puerto Rico islands, it's going to push it further west. So he's talking about this storm system could actually stall out in the corner of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina and sit there. Now, right now, there's a lot of storms that are coming in, dropping several inches. So the ground's already going to be wet. And then you're going to bring in a low-end hurricane, tropical storm, whatever it's going to be. And it's going to sit there. Oh, that's not good. It's never good. Remember several years ago where that one storm came into the Houston area and it just sat there for a long time, just flooded the heck out of Houston. And so that's a possibility with this. Now, it could, go in and come back out and go back in again. That's what the forecasting is saying. So just be heads up. They can manipulate these storms either way, I believe. If the good guys get involved, which I think they have been, but the bad guys can ramp these up into Cat 5 overnight. So we've seen that in a lot of areas. We saw that in Acapulco, where everybody went to bed thinking it might be a tropical storm, low end, Cat 1, which is everybody's yawn. Then they went to bed, and then it hammered them with the biggest Cat 5 in history, right? Well over 200-mile-per-hour winds. It devastated Acapulco. It blew buildings down. It blew out the windows and high rises. It was crazy. So we have to be very careful with these storms. So I would recommend, this is supposed to come in Monday or Tuesday. I would start to recommend that people prepare, get all the food and water and supplies and lights and whatever they need, flashlights, but having a E&E plan, escape and evasion plan, where they can get out if things get really bad really quick. All right, so you get all of you peeps in that area, just be heads up for that. All right, so the other thing that I'm looking at is a possible earthquake on the opposite coast. So we've seen a little bit of that already. A lot of earthquake activity, even in Nevada, where I'm at, in the desert, kicking off with some crazy earthquake activity. So now we're seeing, just off the coast, a large, shallow earthquake off the coast of Oregon, 5.9.
There. Let me get further down a little bit and then let's talk about this. Northern California, the San Andreas Fault, then we have the Cascadia Fault that goes from Northern California basically through along the coast of Oregon, Washington, and then even into Canada, British Columbia, and that could create a magnitude 9 megathrust earthquake, which is not really good, guys, I would say. And that would also come with a tsunami that could be, Eddie, that could be as high as 100 feet. So is this the culprit? Do we need to worry about the Cascadia Fault? So let's get down there into that tsunami danger zone. When this earthquake happened early in the morning, basically there was no tsunami warning. That's the good thing. So that's why.
All right. So anyway, where she's at in Oregon, when there's a big earthquake like that, they put out the signs. All right. So she was kind of showing that with her little doggies. But, again, you have to have, earthquake plans, hurricane plans, volcano plans. All right. So there's I really think that California and the Pacific Northwest is going to get some volcanic activity here soon. I don't know what soon is, but it could happen very quickly. I think there's a lot of buildup in energy. I feel that there's a lot of energy that's building up, and it's getting ready to, unleash. Now, that it could, the longer it takes, the more it builds up, unfortunately. Now, in a lot of the faults right now, in the Hayward fault, they usually have a earthquake, I think within, anywhere from 190 to 120 years. I guess we're like into 130 years or something since we've had an earthquake in the Hayward fault, which is in California. So if that fault, Cascadia fault, went, I think it would trigger San Andreas and the Hayward faults, because that's kind of what I've visualized. So it would be pretty devastating if any one of those happens, obviously, because the Hayward fault, the last time it went off, there was like no one lived there, right? Now it's like heavily occupied. So we would see quite a lot of devastation. So it's overdue, way overdue. So pressure building around the world. Now, if I had if I were to pick where the first big earthquake, volcano, tsunami type situation would occur, I would say Campo Flegreri in Italy. All right, so that looks like the one that's really going to go off, but it could last a little bit longer before it does. So just to be heads up. All right, so stay focused. Get ready for the riots. It's from the liberals, because they've had good 8-9 years to get everybody super crazy with Trump's arrangement. There's millions of them out there, and we've had terrorists come into the country on a massive scale, and we have rapists and all kind of crazy people that are out there, murderers. It's going to be quite the cleanup, and I think that's why the military is going to come in. The military on a massive scale could take care of that very quickly, guys. All right, because we're the strongest military in the world, and we're all over the world. Imagine if we really focused our energies here at home, which we will need to do. We could probably clean it up very quickly, and maintain that for quite some time. All right. So it'll be coming one way or the other. All right. What's going to kick it off? What will happen? Will they implement it before? Will they have a PSYOP, like a Charlie Kirk event, so they can just start to implement it? All right. So just be aware that this needs to go down, guys. Ideally before it gets triggered. So another thing that we need to be looking for is possible nuke that's out there, or multiple nukes that are out there. So deep state in desperation mode could do a lot of crazy stuff, right? And that may be why the military is really going to crank down, because there's a super big threat that's out there, and I believe there is. All right, on multiple levels. So we have to be very heads up, and maintain our awareness, maintain our intuition, and start to look for some of these problems, and hopefully nip them in the bud before they spread or flower out. Right. All right. Lots of love. Stay in a love vibration, and I'll see you guys next time.